pages 202, 203, and 204. And these are just a big review for the test that we're going to be having. So get out your books, get out a pencil, and let's do some review. Now, as you can see, I did pick and choose on different exercises that I think you needed to work on a little bit more. So that's why we kind of skipped around a little bit. So let's go. First of all, what I want to do is review the parts of speech, because even I saw in this last week of grading, there were some issues that we might need to work on, and I just wanted to review that. So first, let's talk about a noun. A noun is the name of a person, place, or thing. Girl, house, pencil, flag. But it can also be an idea, patriotism, okay? Also, a verb. A verb tells what action someone or something is doing or expresses in a state of being. Okay? My horse is fast. He runs across the field. Is going to be an example of a verb. And then we have our helping verbs and our state of being verbs. So it's actually a state of being verb. Then we have he runs, that's an action, okay? So be thinking about words that have action, and those are your verbs. Now, let's go ahead and look at adjectives and adverbs. An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. So if you can see, the adjectives go with a noun, usually, okay? And it tells what kind, it tells how many, or which one. The brave bear protected his small cub. Now, there's a couple of different adjectives in this sentence. We have something describing the bear, which is brave. It's describing only the bear, not anything he did, just the bear. And then small is describing cub. How small? Okay. What kind? He's small. So small is describing cub. Then we have an adverb. An adverb describes a verb. So adverb, that should be your hint, verb, usually is going to describe a verb. And it tells when, where, or to what extent. Okay, and I can't see the example because my head is covering. So good luck. Then the next thing I want to review, which some of you are having a little bit of a trouble with, was a pronoun. Now, a pronoun takes the place of a noun, okay? Instead of saying Emily, we can say she. Instead of saying Riley, we could say he or him. If you're talking about a bicycle, it can be it. Okay, now if you're talking about a group that includes you, we're going to do we or us. But if it's something else, we're going to say them or they. Okay, so please remember, it's a pronoun. Again, it's part of a noun, but it takes the place of that noun. So kind of remember that as we're working on our lesson today. Let's look at page 202. And we're going to do section A, all of section A. And then think C, we're only going to do the even numbers. Because in think C, I wanted to make sure you had a little bit of space to do your circles. All right? So if we look at think A, we have to decide if there's an error. Okay? And there's only going to be one error. And as you see, I already kind of showed you, the quotation marks are going to count as one. Okay? My name is Charlotte needs to be quoted because that's what somebody says. And notice the quotation starts right before the first capital letter and it ends after the punctuation, after the comma, said the spider to Wilbur. Then look at number 2. Last July, we took a trip to the beautiful country of Canada. Well, looking just at punctuation, last July, we took a trip. Well, the only thing I can think of is missing, which some of you might not see because a lot of you leave this out too, is A period. It just needs a period. So you're going to continue on looking for capital letters, looking for punctuation marks. Okay? Now let's look at Think C. Think C says we're supposed to underline the verb 2 times and subjects 1 time, and then we circle adverbs. And I remember that because I put that in there. All right, so we have to underline the verb 2 times. Well, what is the verb? What is the action? God's creation sings forth his praises. So what is the action? Well, that's going to be sings. Oops. All right, there we go. Then the subject is going to be creation, not God, because God is actually an adjective that's describing creation. So we don't even circle both of them. We just talk about the plain old creation. Okay? So we have the subject creation, we have the verb sings, and now we're supposed to be circling adverbs, or adjectives, adjectives. All right, so let's think about what I already said there was one adjective. That was God's, because God's is describing creation. But there's another adjective in a sentence. But to find an adjective, you probably need to find a noun. So in the rest of the sentence, where is a noun? Praises is going to be your noun. Well, whose praises? His praises. So his is going to be the adjective. So make sure you look through the whole sentence. Some of you just want to look for one, and you don't see the rest. Read the whole sentence, find your nouns for adjectives, okay? When you find your noun, you will probably find an adjective that's describing it. Let's move on. Now, let's look at page 203, Think D and F. Okay? Let's do section D first. And we're supposed to check for a compound subject or compound verb, and then circle adverbs. Okay, compound subject means there's 2 subjects, or there's 2 verbs, 2 actions, and they're usually connected by and or but. Okay, so let's look for those connecting words. Did Seth and Chloe agree with you? Well, I see a compound subject. Okay, and what does that mean? Okay, that means I check it. Okay, if it has a compound subject, I check it, but I also need to look through the sentence and see if there's any adverbs. Now, adverbs have to do with the verb, agree. Is there anything describing agree? I don't see anything, so I don't believe there's anything to circle there. Let's skip over to number 3. Okay, Natalie could have easily scored the winning run. Well, again, you're looking at the compound subject or the compound verbs. I don't see any ands, I don't see ors. I don't see anything compound. So do we have to check it? No, we don't. No checks. But we still need to look for adverbs. What are some adverbs? Well, how do we find an adverb? We have to look for the verb first. Okay? So what is the verb? Could have easily scored the winning run. The actual verb is could have scored, and Mrs. Landis already made a mistake because I just put, well, no, I didn't make a mistake. Oh, because we weren't supposed to underline it. See, I have to follow the directions too. The verb is could have scored, and then your adverb is describing could have scored. And how could you have scored it? Very easily. So easily is going to be your adverb that you will circle. And that's all you have to do for this sentence. We're just checking it if there's compound subjects or verbs, and then we're circling adverbs. All right, guys, so that's all we had to do. Now let's go straight to Think F. And I went ahead and stuck in your little personal pronoun chart to remind you about our pronouns and what form to use them in. Remember, you're talking about yourself or you're part of a group, or you're talking about another part of a group at the end, they. Again, some of them start out with just you, and then it goes into a group. And then finally, again, you start it with just you or somebody else, and then it goes into a group at the end, whether you're a part of the group or talking about a group. So now we look at the underlined word, and we just have to put in the right pronoun. A little dog barked fiercely at the postman. Well, it's only at one person. Okay, so what would we say here? The little dog barked fiercely at the postman. We're going to bark at he? No. Let's look across. He, him, his. A little dog barked fiercely at him, or a little dog barked fiercely at his. Well, actually, we're talking about him. So that would be your answer. Then number 3, it says, Alexis and I were pulling on one side of the raft. Well, what are we going to do there? Okay, we're talking about Alexis. We're talking about another. Are we going to say her and I pulling on one side of the craft? Or are we going to say she and I? Well, she and I is your best bet. So let's stick it in there. See? All right, let's go ahead and turn to our last page section that we're going to do. It's on page 204, and it's Think H. And I went ahead and put this little excerpt in the slide so that we can kind of see this together. Now, this is why I went over the parts of speech at the beginning, because I really wanted to make sure that you would remember what they were. And we have a noun, verb, pronoun, adjective, and adverb. Please do not just put a in the blank, because it could be adj, adjective, or it could be adv, adverb. So you need to write out adj or adv. Don't just write a, because I won't know which one you're talking about, and then I'll mark it wrong. All right, so what is the oldest thing in your house? Well, let's look at number 1. Oldest. What is oldest describing? It's describing thing, which is a noun. So what would we use? We would use a adjective. Now let's go to your house. Well, house is a noun. So something is describing whose house it was. It was your house, and what would that be? That would be an adjective as well also. Is it books? Is it pictures? Is it furniture? Well, what is furniture? That seems like a thing to me. Person, place, thing. That would be a noun. So, good. No, there's something older than any of these. It is water. It. Well, what is it? What is that? That is going to be the pronoun. Okay, it's a thing it's talking about. It's replacing something. Okay. Now, next one. Water is as old as anything in the world. The second verse in the Bible. Well, what is second describing? It's describing a verse, which is a noun. So if it's describing a noun, it's going to be an adjective. Good job. Genesis 1:2 says, and the earth was, was. That sounds kind of familiar. It's not really showing action, but it is a state of being verb. So it would be a verb. Was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Well, what do you think there, guys? Darkness. In this case, darkness is going to be a noun, okay? It's not really describing anything specifically, okay? It's going to be a thing here. Darkness is just a thing, a person, place, or thing. And the Spirit of God moved. Well, I think that's action, so we know automatically that must be a verb. Upon the face of the waters. What is a, an, and the? They are always adjectives. So now I want you to complete the last few all by yourself. I gave you a huge help, a huge start, boys and girls. So I really hope that you can get these last few right. And I just want this to be a really great review for you. So please study hard and do all the specific exercises with all the directions. And you will be having a test on Friday. So please make sure if you have any problems or questions, you're going to see me on Zoom. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.